Hello there, welcome to my review of Flag of Iron, released by 88 Films from the Shaw Brothers studio. Going to be getting into this today, what I thought about it. It's a classic from Cheng, who is one of the godfathers of the Kung Fu cinema, made hundreds of films like overall, a real god in the world of Kung Fu movie making, and this stars the Venom mob, or parts of the Venom mob anyway. But we'll just get into this film today, what I liked about it, if it's worth checking out, and say thank you 88 Films for releasing all these classic movies that I've never seen before, or ones that I've not seen for ages. So today we're getting to the Flag of Iron. I say a little bit about Chang. Chang was one of the greats in the world of kung fu movie making, along with directors such as King Hu, Yuen Wu Ping. I mean, he is regarded as one of the godfathers of sort of, cinema, and just from Hong Kong and China, and just the way it was made and the way it was filmed, and the way fight sequences were framed, and the cinematography, and all these kind of little things. He's most widely known for directing films such as One-Armed Swordsman, Five Deadly Venoms, Boxer from Shantung. I mean, his body of work is absolutely gigantic. It really is. If so, Chang-Chi is one of these names. If you're just getting into kung fu movies and the Shaw Brothers back catalogue, Chang-Chi is a name that will be coming up a lot. Believe you and me, he is one of these directors that this guy was responsible for a lot of the Shaw Brothers' biggest hits early as well, working with actors like David Sheng, like films like Blood Brothers, Five Shaolin Masters. I mean, just so many, too many to mention off the top of my head. But Chang-Chi was one of these filmmakers where he was sort of what set him differently apart from a lot of like his contemporaries and people like other directors around him at the time. He was very influenced by other directors, like Western directors, directors from different countries, different places. Two of his biggest influences being people like Sergio Leone, Akira Kurosawa, trying to take their sort of style or elements of what they do and putting it into his own work, and just making sure just his work stood out, and it just had that sense of gravitas to it. And if you look at the way Chang-Chi films a fight scene, you really get to see everything, and the way it's sort of shot, and the framing and the camera, but you really can dissect it for hours. But it's just Chang-Chi amazing. You will, if you're new to the world of kung fu movies, get used to watching quite a number of Chang-Chi movies. But as mentioned, this stars the Venom mob. It doesn't star the full roster of the Venom mob, but it stars a selection of the Venom mob. And if you're not familiar with the Venom mob, they basically were a group of actors from Taiwan who were like trained in sort of traditional sort of martial arts, acrobatics, that kind of thing. They sort of all grew up together, and they basically done a film called Five Deadly Venoms, Five Venoms, depending where you watch it. And that's one of the films you must see. You've got to check it out. It's a classic in so many ways. If you look at, homages to it are made even to this day. More recently, like I say, you need to look at like Kill Bill with the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad. That's a reference to sort of Five Deadly Venoms, and but they basically done this film Five Venoms, and they basically from then on became known as the Venom Mob. And they done subsequent films where they had all of them in it. Sometimes there was just two or three of them in it, but it's regardless of what, like the film like Flag of Iron, even though it doesn't have the full roster of the Venom Mob, it's still, in my eyes, and I think a lot of other fans, regarded as a Venom Mob film. So the Venom Mob basically consists of 5 players mainly. I mean, the bulk of them consist of Philip Kwok, Lu Thang, Chang Sheng, Sun Chen, and Lo Man. Philip Kwok often playing like the hero kind of guy. Lo Feng often, sometimes if you've seen Five Venoms, he's the bearded one. He's often a villain. Chang Sheng sort of the acrobatic, sort of light one, smaller one. Sun Chen, sort of taller, but sort of usually regarded as like the best kicker of the group, especially if you watch something like Five Venoms, you'll see his kicking style. And Lo Man, who's sort of like the big sort of, he's the bulkier one of the 5. So yeah, that's the 5 Venoms. As I say, just giving you like a quick brief history of them there. And I'll just to go over this plot with it. Even though this film's plot is relatively simple, the way I'm probably going to describe it right now is probably going to confuse you relentlessly, so I'll just do my best to keep it, just to give you an idea of what the film's about. Basically, you have the Iron Flag clan and the Eagle clan, and as mentioned, Philip Kwok and Chen Shen, who are usually heroes. They usually play good guys. They're a member of the Iron Flag clan, so picture that's just the good clan. And you've got the Eagle clan, who sort of run casinos. They're not brothels, that kind of thing. They're not exactly the best. Have these 2 clans. And so basically, when the chief of the Iron Flag clan, the one that our hero's a member of, is murdered, Lowe, played by Philip Kwok, takes the heat and goes on the run. Nobody knows who killed him. Like the Eagles are sort of pressing charges. He goes on the run until the heat's died down in order for sort of this all to go away, so he can come back when it's all sort of settled. And the newly appointed chief, Brother Chow, played by Feng, in his absence, he teams up with the Eagles. Like as I mentioned, they were running brothels and casinos and that kind of thing. So he basically integrates the Eagles into the Iron Flag clan, and he starts operating them things with them. So basically enables, he wills their clan to get corrupted and into these sort of things that it wasn't before. And though it was, without going too in depth with it, it was actually him that hired the killer known as the Spearman or Man in White to kill their master anyway, even though the killer who he hired was told the wrong reasons for killing him, because he thought, he was misled thinking the master was going to join the Eagles, so that's why he killed him, and he was just a hired killer for contract hire. So they're not, when Philip Kwok finds out, he doesn't sort of blame the Spearman, the Man in White, even though he's still angry at him. It's mainly, like I say, Brother Chow, who he has a real issue with and a real beef with. Anyway, excuse me, won't get too much in the plot, but so sorry if that's confused you. Really doesn't mean to. It's one of the films, the story is actually not that complicated, but I've probably made it sound very convoluted. Though the film, it doesn't have all the Venom mob, as I say, it's still regarded to be a Venom mob film. And I did enjoy, excuse me, basically when Philip Kwok's away in his absence, what's great is Chow, played by Feng, sends some killers after him. And there's a wonderful segment to this film. There's a really fun segment, and unfortunately it doesn't go on too long. They don't make a big deal of it, and that might be a good thing. That might be part of the charm of it. But basically he sends these killers after him, and they're known as sort of the 10 deadly killers of the underworld. And it's a really fun, interesting part of the movie. I mean, this could have been a whole movie in itself. Like this guy going on the run, these 10 killers are after him, not knowing where they're going to crop up, not knowing where they're going to come from. And they've all got names depending on where they are. Like you've got the butcher, the axeman, the bookkeeper, the fortune teller. And it's wonderful because these guys had so much different sort of potential and different weapons, and it really, like I say, it was a film in itself. They could have at least dragged this on for another 10-15 minutes longer than what they did, but obviously there was a story to tell. Chang had a story to get through, and he wanted to film a lot more with other, get the other actors involved and give an overall story. But there was a wonderful segment there, and I think a lot of people, that is sort of their favourite part of the movie, because it's a very interesting thing. It's a fun part, although obviously this film doesn't shy away from violence. It's a very fun part of the movie, which I really enjoyed. And as mentioned earlier, the Venom mob were a group of highly skilled acrobats, martial artists from Taiwan. And in this film, as the title suggests, flag of iron. Flags are actually used as weapons attached to poles, and this allows the cast, when using these poles, and especially in the ending of this film, to do some fantastic acrobatics and flips and somersaults, and to really show off their talent and skills that they know. I mean, so particularly like Philip Kwok and Sheng, some of the flips they do absolutely incredible, and the way Chang Cheh is filming it, absolutely wonderful stuff. Really, it looks incredible, Kevin, because it really you get such a wide shot sometimes, some of these flips, and you are really, I mean, Philip Kwok, absolutely amazing, really incredible performer, really so to kung fu movie buffs, like everybody knows who he is, and again Chang as well, really sort of famous in the world of kung fu movies. And like I said, that when these guys get going doing their flips and somersaults, it's incredible stuff. It really is. They often play the good guys, but when these flags are sort of looping around and they're going underneath over them and they're doing all the flips and the dodges and everything like that, or even if they're using them themselves, really artistic, wonderful stuff. Really looks fantastic on camera. It really does. As I say, although there are some Venoms missing from this film, it's still a very solid kung fu film, and as I say, and I still think it is regarded as a Venom mob film. Though the narrative, even though I did probably describe it as very complex and convoluted, even though the story is quite simple, it's very easy to follow with some, like I say, some fantastic set pieces. It was made in 1980. I'm not sure if I mentioned that earlier. Although the dueling with the flags, even because that is like I say, a big point of this film, it's not exactly standard to kung fu films. I mean, when you think kung fu, you think, like I say, swords, the staff. Um, but here, as I say, just to use something different as a novelty, and I think it's nice when kung fu films do that, where they just like, let's make a different weapon. As I say, you got the guy with the spearman in it, the man in white. He has sort of spears on his back, sort of silver spears, and he never ever seems to run out. Like, when you have like an archer in a film and they never run out of arrows, it's that kind of thing. Um, and he has like spears that when they open, they shoot other spears. So it's got that kind of thing going on. But it's all, like I say, it's all good fun stuff. Um, it does look great on camera though, as I say, the dueling with the flags. It really, like I say, it's just something new, something different. Adding to, like I say, just making something a bit quirky, gimmicky maybe, but it's really good stuff. So I say, please check out this film if you're new to sort of the Venom mob. It's probably not the best one to start with. It's still a brilliant film in its own right. I really enjoyed it. I absolutely think it's a wonderful film. Can't wait to watch it again. But if you are new to the Venom mob, I would either start with, say, 5 Venoms or then move on to sort of Crippled Avengers, because they're the two films that some of them that it's got them all in. Crippled Avengers in particular is a real, truly original kung fu movie. I know it's Crippled Avengers is in the Arrow release, the Shaw Brothers Shaw Scope box set. So if you haven't got that, even though it's quite pricey, it's quite expensive, it's still worth picking out. And it's also got 5 Venoms in it as well. But this is still really, if this is going to be your first, whether it's your first Chang film, your first Venom mob film, it's still worth checking out. It's still really good. Like I say, it's just sometimes their body of work is over, but everybody's sort of got their favourite Venom mob film. Everybody's got their favourite Venom member, But I say, please check it out. Along with, like I say, if you can, Crippled Avengers and 5 Venoms. But I say, 88 films, keep up the amazing work. Keep releasing these great kung fu movies from back in the day. And yeah, let's have some more. See you soon.